Hello everybody out there and welcome back to another episode of Horror Corner. I'm gonna look so forward to getting out of this month. And in this Horror Corner episode, I will be reviewing the Aliens Omnibus Volume 2. My brother's doing the odd numbers and I'm doing the even numbers. There's 6 omnibuses altogether for Aliens, and there's 2 Aliens vs. Predators, and I have no idea how many Predators books there are, but these omnibuses are really awesome. Dark Horse puts a lot of these omnibuses out, as a matter of fact. There's Star Wars, Predators, Aliens, you name it, they've got it. And these are the classic stories from the 90s. So anyway, let me get to the index page so I can tell you guys. There are 3 stories collected in this book. And I did a little research on the last one, and there's a reason why. There's Genocide, Harvest, and Colonial Marines. I'm going to give you guys a really briefie on the 3, on what I felt of the 3. Genocide, I thought was a good story. Harvest, I did not like the artwork, and I was not too keen on the story. Colonial Marines, I enjoyed, but it felt like the story changed halfway through. And after doing my research, I actually found something out about Colonial Marines. And no, it's not based off the video game, for any of you guys out there that are wondering if it's based off the video game. It was my determination. When I saw that was the title of the story in here, I decided to do the even number so I could review it. But, anyway, in Genocide, which is where we're starting, I like the artwork in this book, number 1. Number 2, this is after Earth was infested with aliens. This is after the aftermath of it. Basically, Earth's come back from the infestation. Now they're building up again. However, there is a drug that is made from, I don't want to say the blood. Basically, it's made from the aliens. And this drug makes you super strong. It makes you like the aliens in a way. It's an enhancer. And the army wants it. And the person who makes it, the only way to get it now, because there are no more aliens on the world, is to go back to the aliens' homeworld. And with the army, they do just that, to collect the blood, or I believe they called it the gel or jelly of the aliens in order to make this drug. And of course, everything goes wrong. And people die. They barely make it off the planet alive. It was awesome. The action was really good, and that's a briefie of it. The person actually who wanted the there's another person that was working with, I forgot the guy's name. It's in the very beginning of the book. Sorry, these books are a little thick, so forgive me for 2 seconds. Daniel Grant is the person who was making these drugs, and I believe towards the... I went too far. Sorry about that. He's one of the few that actually survives, along with the major. Not the major, the sergeant. Everybody else ends up dying in this first story, and there's a lot of people vying for this jelly. They want the drug to sell for whatever reason. A lot of twists and turns, especially towards the very end of this book, but I liked it. Harvest, on the other hand, I didn't like. It's very sketchy art. Like, it's a dark artwork. The artwork was good. Though. It was dark, but it was good. The scientist created a robotic alien that infiltrates the alien hive, and it kind of, I believe it has the same, I wasn't really too interested in the story, but it felt like the same thing. They were looking to harvest pieces of the aliens in order to make the type of drug or something like that, and they get found out, and in the end, things don't go well for either one of them. And that's kind of where it leaves off. I believe one of them, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, one of them actually is cocooned in the end, and well, we all know what happens when people are cocooned and they're not killed by the aliens. They become breeding grounds for their young. Anyway, Colonial Marines, which is basically, this is 2 stories in one. The first two stories, both Genocide and Harvest, were 4 issues apiece, so that was the thick of the book. Now, if you look, you're really at halfway, and this only has 3 stories. So this is basically Colonial Marines, the whole second half of the book. You could make half this omnibus with Colonial Marines. Now, I did my research on Colonial Marines. I was wondering if it was an ongoing or why it was so long, because it felt like it was about 10 chapters long. And it turns out Colonial Marines was supposed to be a 12-issue maxi series that ended up getting cut down to a 10-issue mini-series due to a lot of creative differences. Because at some points in this story, I felt like I was reading an ongoing series, and the creative teams do change a few times, the artist changes a few times, and it felt like we were going through a story. This story has Vasquez's younger sister, along with a a dishonored commander who's leading this band of they feel like reject soldiers on this mission, which obviously gets them attacked by aliens. And they escape the planet the first time around, and it turns out throughout this whole thing there's a plot with this guy who's trying to turn humans into aliens, or make them like aliens, to my knowledge. And the commander, after a while, makes a promise that he's going to stop this guy no matter what the cost. And believe me, by the end of the story, it really is at all costs. Here's a picture of the guy right here. So he's turning them into aliens. You can see one of the humans actually there as a half alien, half human. They escape one planet and land on another planet for R&R, and it just turns out that that planet is infested with a different type of alien. They're kind of like mer aliens, because the person, I forgot the guy's name, but he was on that planet as well, so he was breeding aliens there too. So they escaped that planet barely, and really it's just all about, at one point, them just going after this guy to put an end to him once and for all. And huge spoiler here, basically everyone dies by the end of this story, except for a few people that escape on a shuttle, and they ended up getting saved by an android. Another thing is, this series ended it felt like it ended very abruptly, and while I was doing my research also, I found out that Colonial Marines actually did end very abruptly. It literally just, the last 2 issues were basically the wrap-up. It was just a rushed wrap-up, and spoiler alert here again, the one character I didn't think that would die in this book, at least to my knowledge she did, Vasquez's sister ends up in the same fate as her older sister by the end of this book. So, out of the 3 stories, I enjoyed Colonial Marines the most, because I felt like I was reading an ongoing series, even though it turned out it was supposed to be a maxi series that was turned into a mini series due to tons of creative differences. If you're interested in looking this up, you could look up Aliens Colonial Marines, I believe it was 1994. Or you could just look up this omnibus and it'll give you links to the 3 miniseries that are in here, and then you could click the Colonial Marines. I found the story behind the actual story very interesting. Art and writing changed several times throughout this. It really honestly felt like Colonial Marines had potential for an ongoing, but unfortunately was cut short due to a lot of creative differences and people coming and leaving the book, and I guess that's why they abruptly ended it back then. But really good. I really enjoyed this book. I'm a huge Aliens fan, for those of you guys that don't know. That's why Mike and I are doing the Alien Omnibuses all this month, and hopefully we'll get a chance to do Alien vs. Predator. If not, we will save it for next Halloween. But Aliens, I love the franchise, and I'm really glad that Dark Horse actually puts these omnibuses out. Granted, it's not as big as a comic book. It's a little bit smaller than your standard comic book, so they did downsize the pages a little bit. However, they're collected very nicely in a very nice binding. So the book is really nice. It's easy to display on your shelf, and the images are really nice, and really they're redone very nicely also. From the pages they were originally made from. So all in all, I would definitely give this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I have to take stars away because I did not enjoy Harvest. I did enjoy Genocide, and I really enjoyed Colonial Marines for what it was worth. Unfortunately, towards the end of the story of Colonial Marines, though, it kind of fell short. That, once again, was just because they wrapped up the series abruptly. So, really, I came into this book with medium expectations because, again, these are stories from the 90s, and I was very pleasantly, I'm slurring my words here, surprised. I really enjoyed it. So if you guys are interested, this is a $25 book from Dark Horse, or you can go on Amazon. I believe right now on Amazon it's $20 to $22. Up to you guys. So with that, that's it for this Horror Corner review, guys. As always, don't forget to check out Comic Related, Comic Frontline, Zone 4 Podcast, and Frontline Gaming Zone. Together we're your #1 source for comic-related news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. Don't forget to check back on here. We're going to have tons of stuff. Feel free to comment below if you've read any of the stories that were in this book, or if you've actually read the omnibus. Let me know what you guys thought about it. If you decided to go out and get this book after seeing this review, let me know what you think of the book after you're done reading it. It's a long read. You're going to be reading for some time, so I'm not expecting replies if you bought the book after watching this video for quite some time. So until next time, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and I will see you guys in the next review.